But again, welcome to the Mailchimp Ideas Office Hours. The session is offered weekly for ideas participants that are leveraging Mailchimp. And so this is a chance where we can have an expert come in and serve a presentation on Mailchimp. And today's topic is B2B lead generation by Opium Works. Opium Works is a dedicated Mailchimp partner, I believe in Greece. Is that correct? And so they are
Greece and Cyprus.
Greece and
Yeah.
Cyprus. Okay. They have worked with Mailchimp for quite a bit. They're in the Mailchimp integrations directory. And while they are talking about B2B lead generation, this can be applicable to any type of business, right? Like how to get leads, how to engage with those leads, and how to see those leads generate revenue. So really, really excited about this presentation today. Of course, if you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A portion of the Zoom toolbar, or you can send them a DM to me directly. I'm happy to surface those at the end of the workshop. And then, of course, let us know how you're feeling about the content, anything that you need clarified, you can use the chat. But I will go ahead and pass it to Opium Works to go ahead and get started on the presentation. Again, thank you for joining us, and we're glad that you're here. I'll pass it to you.
Thank you for the introduction, Jocelyn. Super excited that you all join and you're investing in your time in this interesting workshop. Fun fact about us is that we started using Mailchimp as clients because we wanted to focus on B2B lead generation, and we fell in love with the tool actually, and that's how we ended up learning more about it and becoming eventually a partner. So I'm super excited about today's session. Um, Feel free to drop questions throughout the presentation because I would like to keep it interactive and helpful as much as possible. So the summary of today's workshop, like in a sentence, is that we want to build a 24/7 revenue engine, and we can do that with Mailchimp. So we move on from the traditional manual outreach of leads to automated lead generation, and it's easier than it sounds uh, to build. I outlined 6 milestones for today's session. Number one, I want to talk more about B2B, the black hole problem, as we like to call it, and understand where the leads disappear and what happens throughout the lead generation process. Two, the science of attraction. It's the B formula of Mailchimp, and how applying behavioral science to lead generation can actually help us. And number 3, 4, and 5, and 6, we will talk about the 4 phases that we can work on to attract leads and optimize our lead generation journey. So I want to ask you a question. Feel free to drop your answers in the chat. If you were asked, what is your biggest challenge? Is it attracting a new lead or like following up with the new leads you create? What's the biggest challenge for you? Hi, Yara. Thank you. Yes, Natika, I see you. So actually, it's very challenging and very hard to attract new leads. I'm sure you all face this challenge, but it's even harder to timely follow up on those leads, especially when you're already overwhelmed with other projects going on, and or you're like a team of people. It's like super challenging. So a very big factor of unsuccessful B2B lead generation campaigns is the lack of proper response time or proper follow-up on time from clients. And we will talk more about this. This is what we call basically the black hole. you, even if you manage to do the unthinkable and you have like steady campaigns that generate leads for you, the you eventually end up getting lost. You don't know what happens with all these leads. You don't know which ones are the qualified, if they are cold or if they are hot, and you just miss the opportunity. And it's like they just like disappeared, if I may say. Studies have shown that when a new lead is coming in through your channels, if you respond on time, you have better chances to either qualify the lead or understand or proceed to the next phase successfully, basically. 80% of B2B sales require 5 to 12 touch points before closing. And the fact that we do everything manually, the human sales reps has to do everything manually. It increases the human error and the delays because there's so much things that you can do at the same time. So what we have understood at this stage is that the faster we follow up and the faster we respond to inquiries, there's like higher chances for that lead to convert or to proceed, or at least to qualify it and avoid spending valuable time of our sales team on it. Again, from a recent study we've seen from the Mailchimp resources, the average B2B company follow-ups on less than 25% of inbound leads. And the reason it's simple, there's so many hours within a day. We are just like, there's so many hours within the day. You have to do sales, follow up with the existing leads, qualify the existing leads, again, do project implementation, coordinate internally. It's a lot of things. Of course, some things will fall through the cracks. And here comes the BMAP formula, as we call it. It's behavior equals motivation, X ability, X prompts. What we really want to say here in simple words is that we want to find the why a lead wants to connect with me, how easy to support me as a brand, as a company, and the when. It's when they would like to support. By support, I mean like choose me as their product of choice. If we take this formula into our campaigns and then into the implementation of leads follow-up, chances are we will have more successful results. And I would like to break down this formula into phases on how we can how we can implement this, basically. So we have phase one, with step one, if you may, which is intelligent capture, how I can capture the right leads for my business. Okay. First of all, I can use either the Mailchimp landing pages, which are already properly set up, or I can use my website landing pages or a capture form and properly connected with analytics with Mailchimp to offer a high valuable content. That valuable content can be anything from like a free audit to your account, a free service, or like a limited offer as a discount, or a white paper, or like a report that it's relevant to that industry. It can be anything that shows your expertise and it's attractive enough to convince somebody to complete the form and share their data with you. Once this is done, here comes the immediate value for you. You get a qualified lead that they have chose to share their data with you in exchange of a piece of your expertise. And that lead expects an immediate value back, that they received what they were promised immediately. Here, my advice based on experience would be it's qualify on entry, which means you don't have to like gather a lot of leads and then start qualifying it. Try to qualify the leads from the very first time they will complete a form. You can do this by customize or choosing custom fields to capture either company size or a job role, whatever is relevant to you. For example, if you're a consulting service company or like an insurance agent looking for leads, maybe it's important to you to know that the person contacting you is a decision maker. So you need to identify that field that will help you understand if the person completed the form is actually a decision maker and they can actually move forward with you. So another question. If you could choose one field only to your sign up form to instantly know a lead's value, what that field would be? Well, it depends. It depends. I would say it depends on the industry. For example, to us, for our business, I would say the most valuable field would be uh, yes. And also, I would add to Jonathan's point, bravo, very good point. Correct. That's another thing. It should be like relevant to you. Uh, it could be anything from like what's the biggest problem you're currently facing, as Jonathan very correctly pointed out, or something like job role, what job role they have to ensure you have like the you can even ask them like the company revenue if that's relevant to you. You can ask them if they invest in XYZ service you already provide. Uh, I would suggest to try and see if you can make it easy. If you can make it easy for them, like either by offering a drop down option so they can choose, or by like one line answer. They can answer with one line. But all these are good answers and good suggestions. So I would move on to step 2 or phase 2 if you want to, which is scaling motivation. We want to automate that part so we can properly nurture leads. How we can do that? Again, it's very simplistic and less complicated and advanced than it sounds. We have a form that helps us qualify as the first step our leads. And then we want to separate, divide, if you may, the high intent leads from the low intent leads. We want to understand which leads are more likely and more hot, as we call them, compared to the leads that they show interest, but maybe they are not ready to make a decision right now. We can achieve this by various ways. We can either separate our offering, have like one offering, download this exclusive insight report, and then another offering would be like get an actual demo right now of the tool, and you can separate like these two, or you can build it up as a funnel. You start off with download and insight reports, and then you automate the follow-up after a couple of weeks saying, hey, if you gather these insights, our company offers these solutions and we can schedule a demo for you or a free consulting meeting or something like that works better for your company. But this is the idea. It's like step 2 is to properly separate the high intent leads from the low intent leads. So far, our goal is to automate it up to this point. No human interaction so far to save you time. So another question. What is the number one piece of evidence, a statistic, a story, or a testimonial that makes your prospects trust you enough to buy? For us, it's reviews. When they see a review, it's easier for them to complete a form and send a request. It's okay if you don't have an answer, but the point here is mm, nice. That's actually a really good um, ev- piece of evidence. Yes, the service, as Jocelyn mentioned, or case studies. Case studies have been proven that they work across industries. But because you know your sales process quite well and you know your ideal client, it's definitely worth identifying what works best when trying to collect leads and focus on promoting or using that as a hook to attract clients and leads, basically. So we move on to step three, phase three, which is intelligent capture. It's important that if you build all this, either it's within the Mailchimp sphere or it's like on your own website, it's very important to connect it with your Mailchimp account and platform so you can properly track and monitor your pages for contact visits, clicks on forms, incomplete forms, forms completed, or leads revisiting, or if a lead completed a form and then revisited another page. All this data, Mailchimp platform can provide them to you. And if you properly install your tracking on your websites, on your tools, you will have access to those data and you can utilize them to convert more leads or to better evaluate the leads you are tracking. And then it's all about the strategy. Depending on how big or small your team is, there's not a problem. You can using the Mailchimp platform, you can configure internal notifications to alert your sales team, your operations, your head of sales, the owner, whoever you want to, that either a new lead has been generated or this lead has been generated, but no one contacted that lead for like X amount of days. This lead downloaded this offering, let's say, and has revisited the pricing page or all anything you can imagine, almost anything you can imagine, you can track this. You can set up automated notifications to get you informed and alert, and you can act on that notification rather than you waiting at the end of the day or at the end of the week or even at the end of the month to go and check the analytics and trying to figure out what happened, what did not, and trying to act accordingly. You get notified immediately. So there's no waiting for you anymore. So that's my favorite question. Can you realistically call a lead within 15 minutes, let's say, from the time you will receive it? Or will they have to wait until tomorrow or until the next 3 days or even next week? How fast can you reply to a lead? Nice. You can call immediately. That's fantastic. What if I can tell you that you can automate that? You can automate that so the first response can be done automatically. The leads will feel the like the joy of being respond to immediately, uh, and then has higher chances to move forward. Think about it from your own perspective. When you reach out to a company or and you have an inquiry for a service or a product, when you get an immediate response on your request, don't you feel that you get that feeling that, oh, this is more professional? Oh, they seek to my request immediately. I'm important to them somehow. This is the same feeling you want to provide to the leads that they're coming to your website. And phase four, it's AI and efficiency. Uh, Again, there's not enough time to do everything. But again, we live in 2026 and things have evolved and become easier for sales and marketeers. You can do things with the support of AI, so you don't have to spend a lot of manual time, and you can become more efficient doing what you do, which is like selling or closing deals or running marketing campaigns and so on, or running the business even. All these, somebody might argue, it happened to me in another workshop, that hey, I don't want to automate my response to the leads because I want to talk to all my leads because I better understand their needs and I have like personal touch on their request and I can better qualify them, and I don't want to like have like a very flat and cold automated response. This is exactly the point. You know what a client needs. You know what a good qualified lead looks like. Use this knowledge and work with Intuit Assets, which is Mailchimp's AI, and produce that content instead of choosing like a cold wording template. You can put all that knowledge and experience you have into practice and create that. So the lead potentially won't understand the difference from talking to you real time or receiving already prepared email response from you. And then the second most important thing that you can achieve with the AI's Mailchimp's AI is predictive segmentation. That's a very good point. Actually, Mailchimp has a very useful, Jocelyn can share more on this, but they have like a really good uh, academy page and a lot of resources that it's very easy to help you on how to how to set all these features up and how to follow. We have some slides at the end, like more practical slides, but it's easy to do it on your own or work with a partner if you want to assist you on this. But working with a partner always has like some hidden fees. Not hidden fees, it has a fee to work with a partner. But Jocelyn, yes, all these resources are available on Mailchimp as well. Mailchimp Academy and Mailchimp Library, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, will we be able to have possibly like a few of these slides that we can share a version? And if you have anything on your website, we can share that too. Just let us know what you can share with us.
yeah.
Cool.
And here is the cool, thank you, Jocelyn. And here's the cool part. If you properly install all the tracking on your website, okay, and you measure all this lead generation and you collect and gather the data in your Mailchimp account, you can use Mailchimp for predictive segmentation, like based on historical data that the platform gathers. They can create segments for you for leads that are more likely to make a purchase, or they're more likely to respond or make a sale, and so on. And then you have smarter prioritization, which basically means uh, rather than have to manually call 500 new leads that you generated, your team works with the a portion of contacts that the AI tool selected that identify them as conversation ready. So you prioritize those leads. Again, there is some trial and error because the more data input the platform gets, the better it becomes moving forward. And then we're moving on to data insights. Again, one of the biggest challenge I receive and hear from clients is that, okay, we've done all that. We've invested time, we invested money, we did all this. What's the return? How can I measure? I got some leads, but I don't know if it's worth the effort. What I truly like about Mailchimp is that you can get access to all the data and you have full insights on what it's working and what's not. You can generate custom reports and build tailor dashboards that can track metrics that are important to you, to your business. You can do You can build the reports based on open rates by segment, open rates per client type, per click-through rates, content type, or revenue attributed if you manage an e-shop, anything you can do. And it's very easy to do so. You can also, when it comes to reporting, you can funnel benchmarking, which means you can compare your performance against industry benchmarks. This happens to like Europe, definitely USA, UK, and some European countries, if I'm not mistaken. You can compare the data from your campaigns with the data for your industry in your country, and you can see if you are underperforming or performing well, and actually improve your campaign. This is super helpful. And then you get to identify which prompts are driving behavior and which are invisible. For example, you can know exactly which actions gave you ROI, return on investment, and is coming from every pound of budget you invested in. So you have like a full transparent picture of what's happening. Again, it shown this is from EU study. Teams using custom Mailchimp reports reduce wasted ad spend by an average of 34%. They were able to reduce the ad spend that did not provide them or got them any leads by 34% because they saw what works for them and they shifted the budget towards that channels and those campaigns. And then I got a case study from Mailchimp that happened. It was neon workshops. They were running a series of workshops for clients, and they used to do one size fits all emails blast. So they were sending mass emails, engagement was declining, they had like very low click-through rate, and they weren't able to generate enough leads. And it was becoming unsustainable for their workload. So what they did is that they rebuilt their strategy around story-driven automated segmentation using Mailchimp. So they deliver content which was tailored into each contact's interest because they had the data to create this. And based on a client's buyer journey and interest, they tailor-made the message and the solution and the workshop so it felt personal and it felt like attentive. By doing this, they managed to have 60% more engagement uplift. They have 5 times more touch points automated than that were previously handled by staff. Now they were automated, and they 34% shorter sales cycle. So it means they were converting leads faster. So a summary. We went from like the black hole theory, as I call it, to revenue edging. We want to capture intellectually, nurture automatically and avoid manual work, respond in real time, and scale with AI. So we want to work smarter, not harder, or at least put our hard work in something else. Then, any questions so far about the first part of the presentation? Because now I have like a bonus slide. So in the second section, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the tools you can use with Mailchimp to help you with your overall strategy of lead generation. Yes, we all agree Mailchimp is the #1 email marketing and automations platform, and more than millions of users around the world are using Mailchimp to grow their audience and their business. What I like about Mailchimp is the simplicity of the tool and the ease of use. With the platform, you can set the right messages to the right customers at the right time because You have audience management, which I think this was covered in another workshop as well from another partner. You have audience management. Properly manage your audiences, properly structure them, properly group them. You have contact profiles. The more you communicate with your leads and your clients, the better you build their contact profile to gather data. You have pre-built segments and you can customize your segments. You have advanced segmentations, meaning you can do meta custom audiences, like using your ad campaigns from Facebook and Meta in general to create audiences on Mailchimp. And you have predictive segmentation as well. You can send more on-brand content. You can use the email builder tool to help you build content and messages that are relevant to your brand, make it look more realistic, if not so salesy. They have like a huge library of templates that you can use directly for Mailchimp. If you don't find anything that suits you, you can use email templates from Canvas. Again, because of Mailchimp, it's very easy to import a template you designed in another platform to Mailchimp. And then you can spend less time creating emails with Intuit Assist. You can use the generative AI that's feature of Mailchimp to write the first draft of your emails, optimize the content you wrote, and personalize your emails and automations. I'll go to Ara's question and then I'll continue. Okay, I'm reading it out loud for everyone. I have recently found a list of contacts for organizations that are in a new growing segment for us. I was planning on using Mailchimp to send out plain text cold call type emails. These are people that I probably share at least one or two connections with, but we haven't met. So my idea is to avoid a marketing style outreach to them and opt for a self-introduction. What are your thoughts on this? I will tell you my opinion, and if anyone else has anything to add based on experience, we are happy to hear. I agree with you because this is a list that you found from somewhere else. It's not like direct contacts you met at an event, for example. I would definitely go with a self-introduction approach, and I will try to make it personal to avoid those outreach emails. Hi, I'm Savriana and I have the right solution for you. I would properly introduce myself as I would have if I have met them in person. And I will create this email in Mailchimp so I can set up automated follow-up emails through Mailchimp so I don't have to manually follow up with everyone. Definitely a self-introduction and personalized approach as much as possible. That would be my take and my advice. Anyone else wants to add or share their own experience on this matter? If you use a Mailchimp template, like the plain format, yes, you will be able to track the responses as how many people responded and what did they reply and have like all the data in their contact form. Jocelyn can confirm if this is not the case, but I think that you can do.
Yes, you can. I'm finding the tutorial. I'll put it in the chat.
Fantastic. I love your questions. They're very like on point. And again, here's a brief sample of how you can easily set up your Mailchimp with the AI and how you can use segmentation and AI tools of Mailchimp to deliver relevant messages, either by improving the content with the AI or have AI automate it and change it automatically based on the segment you will send that email. So we want to attract and engage new customers with AI, automated email workflows. We build a scale using the customer journey builder. We accelerate automation with pre-built journeys, and we drive engagement by delivering personalized emails. based on in-app or integrated data we already have. Yes, Sarah, I think Jocelyn will respond to your request. And again, here are some samples of the reports and how they work: custom reports, email and audience analytics, and A/B testing reports. Here is a very simple dashboard so you can get an idea of the info you can gather from Mailchimp and how easy it is to review. So, questions. You can also unmute yourself if you want to now that we finished. No questions? That's exciting, I would say. You can share any challenges you might face and you want some advice. Since I'm here now, I will be more than happy to answer any questions I can.
Can I ask a question while we're talking about B2B? It's not necessarily about like automation or but I guess it's just like for B2B, a lot of folks ask questions about like how often do you send like content to those folks outside of the, after the lead. So once you get the lead, you follow up and then, folks struggle about what to say after that. Like, are they sending monthly newsletters? And if so, like what goes in those newsletters, or are they sending quarterly newsletters? If so, what goes in their quarterly? Like B2B to me is just very hard to keep that audience engaged after a while, after you get the lead.
That's true. It's the biggest challenge for us when we have to work with a B2B company, because at the end of the day, there is the end customer, which is they need to be like somebody that understands what you're selling. They are already too busy with their stuff. So it's not like you can casually get them to read something. So I found from experience that when you are solving a problem for them through your content,
Mhm.
it's 100% success. You actually have to spend some time and understand and create actually content, not understand, create content that it's relevant and fresh,
That's
that
good.
it actually solves a problem for them
Yeah.
without asking for anything in exchange. And I also noticed it's not about the frequency. So there's not, at least my experience, like a gold recipe, like you have to email them every week or every month or every time in their birthday, like you find this trend in B2C.
Mhm.
It's more about, okay, if I am like a small finance firm, and my clients are small businesses that they need support to outsource their accounting because they don't hire somebody internally. Maybe I want to reach out to them like a month or 2 months before the audit or tax return start for a
Mhm.
company. So I can inform them and say, hey, it's time for you to reach out to your accountant. Here is a simple checklist, what you need to pay attention to when it
Mhm.
comes to doing your company's taxes. So I'm giving them something, but then it's easy for them to reply and say, hey, very helpful checklist. Can you assist in these terms, taxes? But this is, I think, the logic behind it,
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
content.
I love that. I love that. Giving them something to react to reply to follow up on, to engage with further. Yeah, thank you. Super,
You
super.
can also you can also use, hey, this is my catalog and all my products. Feel free to reach out. But again,
Mhm.
that should not be the mandate for generating leads. That should be like more informative.
Thank you. Super, super helpful.
So
You got another
Jonathan's
question?
question.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you add a lead to this process that didn't come through a landing page, for example, didn't subscribe somewhere? And how will we capture consent, etc.? Let's say that you met somebody at a conference, okay, and you got their email. They don't necessarily have to go into your basic workflow that you have website form, automations, and so on. You can email them and add them to Mailchimp manually because you exchange contacts with that person at the conference, and then put them in the right audience and right segment on Mailchimp so you can email them moving forward. So you still add them to your audience, but you need to make sure that it's probably segmented into an audience that you have, I don't know, leads from conferences. So you have like a different approach and different messages for them. Or you can do like another tactic, which it works in some cases, not in all. Um, Once every quarter, or once every 6 months, or once a year, you email all the leads you collected from, I don't know, random places like events, or you found a lead somewhere and you started emailing them. You email them once, like, hey, please select from the options below which news or subjects are interest of you, so we can probably share our content with you. So you use this way and give the option to the lead to choose what they need to learn. So you have like a more proper segmentation of content. But my advice here, which I think other partners mention as well, avoid emailing people that you don't have consent or they didn't share their contact with you, because Mailchimp is very strict with that. They do a very, very good and thorough checks, and they will ban your account. Sorry if I sound harsh, Jocelyn.
No, it's true. They will, yeah, they can actually scan your list. There's a system that if they see, no good way of consent, or if that person isn't engaging after a while, or if, the email addresses bounce after a while, then, they look at all those little alerts, and then they can like shut your account down and ask you like how you got your audience and all of that. So you have to make sure you get a record of everybody that you bring in.
Yeah.
It's a good question. We've got what, about 10, 15 more minutes. So if you have anything, this is a really good strategy session, really good way to think about a lot of these behaviors and what kind of problems you can solve, and really understanding what the problem is to begin with is really key. I love this presentation. It's very, very,
I'm
very,
glad you liked it. I'm
yeah.
here to further support and help you if you want to. I'm more than happy to share the resources I have on the presentation through Jocelyn. Anything to here to support you.
Got a couple of questions. We can unmute. Let me see if I can try that real quick. Just so you can get your question answered. Let's see. Okay. You should be able to talk now.
Hello.
Yes, you're good.
Hi. Jocelyn, Stavriana, thank you so much. It's such a great presentation. I'm so happy I was able to join this week. Um, so I guess for me, the biggest one is one is collecting the correct B2B contacts, which is what I'm working on, right? And the other one is I have a few very different segments of my audience. Some are in education, that's a big segment. Business is another big segment, and supporting foster youth is another big segment. So, um, I'm assuming there are systems in there where I can, when that qualifying process you talked about, when they're responding, that it can kind of figure out which one of these they fall in and give them some value document related to their segment. And do you have the tutorials on that, or how do we do that?
I don't know if Jocelyn wants to further answer for the tutorials, but my question to you would be, do you already have them like segmented, separated, so you know that these lists are interested for this thing and the others for
I have literally imported 63 contacts into Mailchimp and I have done nothing with it yet. So I'm trying to figure out how to use everything and I'm very early in this stage right now.
Okay. So the traditional ways to actually do this manually, like go to each contact one by one. And if you don't know from which industries or from which content would be interested at the beginning, maybe a more generic and safe approach would be to send something like general that will help you identify for which section are they interested in. So you send something like, hi, XYZ, and I'm here to blah, blah, blah. I'm offering this, like a personal email, or more of introductory. So you can, and based from their answers or what they choose from your email, you can understand in which segment they go. And you let Mailchimp do the segmentation in a way for you. That would be another
Thank
solution.
thank you.
Okay, Natika, how do you know if the audience you have in your audience now are on the approved list? Do you mind clarifying your question? What do you mean by approved list? Do you have this audience for a lot of for like it's a really old audience and you don't know if you have like the rights to email them? Bye. Thank you. Jocelyn can help you with that.
Yes. Let me try to set that up right now. Sorry. The right setting in Zoom. Okay, see if that worked.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
thank you.
perfect. Yay. Also amazing presentation. Thank you, thank you, thank you today. So I have about 1,000 contacts in my Mailchimp right now. And I have been terrified to start sending messages because of this reason right here. So how do I know if the ones that are in there are in fact on this approved list or have received a message from me that asks them to opt in and they opted in? So my first email correspondence to them that I did in the beginning of the year, I learned how to kind of connect the requests for them to say, yes, I want to receive messages from you moving forward. If I'm seeing them right now in MailChimp as my audience still, does that mean that they opted in already? Or does that not mean that? Does that make sense?
Let me see if I understood correctly. So you reach out to these 1,000 email contacts and ask them to opt in or opt out, whatever. And now you still see most of these contacts on your Mailchimp. Is that correct?
Correct.
Then you need to go again. Jocelyn can back me up here, but you can, now that you know which of these that now that you ask them to opt in or opt out, you should use this criteria selection through Mailchimp segmentation, I think, or Mailchimp audiences, and create an audience based on contacts who opt in and contacts who opt out. And then the Mailchimp will create two separated lists for you, and you can select and remove the people that opt out. Again, it's very easy to do that through Mailchimp. Is that right? I think it's correct. That right, Jocelyn?
Yeah, like we in MailChimp, folks that opt out or unsubscribe, if they unsubscribe through MailChimp, then we would automatically remove them from the audience. So you would no longer email them anymore. We put them in
Okay.
like a separate category and saying like, hey, these are all unsubscribed. They no longer want to receive email. And so we put them in a list and that tells the system like, don't email those people, you know. And that's why we try to make it really, clear on your like sign up forms and your, when you're talking to people and they're joining your list, just to let them know like, hey, you can unsubscribe if you no longer want to receive, this content anymore, kind of situation, just because a lot of people join the list and they don't engage and you're paying for that. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a free Mailchimp account because of this program, but once
Mhm.
you do become a paid account, like every contact you have to pay for. And so it's just like if
Mhm.
they don't want to engage, they don't want to you know you receive your emails, that's fine. You don't want that bloat on your list
That
in
is
your
good to
audience. You
know.
want to replace it with people who really want to be there. So I really like this presentation because it talks about lead generation. It's just like you should be focusing on like just bringing in the most loyal folks, right? And if they don't want to be there, like you can replace them, but it has to be an always on kind of machine. So because people change their mind, their behaviors change, they leave businesses, all the time. So it's a lot of hard work. But yeah, it's a really good question on, who you should email but MailChimp does a lot of that managing on your behalf.
Thank
And
you.
again, you should be glad for people are subscribing. You don't want to reach out to them, and because these people will be reducing your click-through rates and your numbers and everything. So the faster you clear up your audiences, the better. I'm glad you found this presentation useful. Very exciting on a Thursday. Okay. So that's all for me. If you don't have any other questions, uh, I'll lead back to Jocelyn.
Yeah, can you talk? I'll come off video, sorry. Can you talk a little bit more like about before we leave, like how people can find you, how to get in
Ah,
contact with you? Just a little bit more like, if you have any other sessions coming up like this, or like if you have events, anything that you wanna share.
oh, look, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn junkie. I accept everyone. So you can message me there as well. Um, I do have a couple of workshops planned ahead, and I'll post everything on my LinkedIn page. But feel free to drop me an email or message me on LinkedIn so we can stay connected. And I'm giving you my email address as well. Uh,
Yeah, and even if you have a email newsletter list, we can sign up for it too. I can share the link in the follow-up email. So I can get that from you if you have anything else you want to share.
Yeah,
Well,
so yeah, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to connect with people from all over the world and exchange experiences and ideas. So I'm very happy that we had this workshop together today. It's night in my country, so that's why the change flight. It's like almost 8 o'clock at night here. So yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you for staying up late with us. And this has been like one of the best presentations. It's been jam-packed with a lot of great resources. We will follow up, put the recording in the hub. I will put the email address in the Ideas Hub too, as well as send you all that attended a email with all of those things too, so you have it. But thank you again. We really appreciate you being here. And look forward to the next section next week, same time, same place. So again, thank you everyone. Take care and go.
Bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.